Hello and welcome back to my channel. So thank you for everybody joining me today. Today I am just going to do a video. I've got nothing planned. It's just I'm in a bit of limbo because I'm getting married tomorrow, me and Lucy. And she's off out getting her nails done and all the rest of bits and pieces. And me being me, I've got everything I've needed to do done well in advance. So I'm left with nothing to do. So I'm just pottering around. So I thought this would be a video where I've got two of these, the Megaphobema Robustum, and that's one, and it's currently living down in there under this little hide, and it has buried itself over, but there's nothing wrong with these enclosures. This one's brilliant. It opens up at the front, loads of ventilation all the way around. But it just looks bland, and at the minute they're not out a lot. They come out in the evening, have a walk around. You can see there's a molt right down there. And what I've noticed is I had a Megaphobema before. I think it was Megaphobema. I have had Robustum before as well. And they both grew really fast. And I don't know if that was because it's male. I've got two of these and they're not growing fast. They're eating twice a week. A cricket, if you put in more and leave it, they won't take it. The cricket will run around, and I don't want to get back to the position I did previously where they went in a mold and the cricket was just a little bit large and it attacks and eats the actual spiders. So maintaining these really well, but I just think that looks bland, and it's just been bugging me where I've got all my moss and all the greenery in. I just think that looks bland. It works for them, so there's nothing wrong with it, but I just thought I'd give it a change. And here is the second one. Same again, straightforward. You can see a molt just down there. They're not that big. I'm going to take it off and show you and capture them. And then I'm just going to revamp this, just freshen it up. It doesn't need to be that moist if you mist it. I do mist this on the right hand side on the substrate, just in case they want to come out and get in that area if it gets a bit too hot. But I always leave a water dish in full, and I tend to not mist this half of the enclosure, so it's dry if they want to stay in there, come out if they need a bit of the moisture. But I find that they always stay this side at the minute because they're only about that big. They're not massive at all. But you can see that that one's living under there. You can't see it yet at the minute, but I just think it's nothing pretty to look at. Doesn't need to be anything else other than this. You can see I put a little orange flower in there for decoration. Does nothing. They dig it up. They're slightly bulldozers at the minute, and they've dug holes all the way around this cork part piece. But I just want to make it look a little bit more presentable and look a little bit more nicer. Plus it helps me keep my mind off the fact I'm getting married tomorrow and I've got nothing to do today, and I'm just pottering around. I'm just like in a bit of limbo. So I thought I'd do this, freshen it up, because it is bugging me, these two. They're quite clear. You can see them in my cabin, and I just want a bit of greenery in it. So let's flip it around. Let's get these out and I can show you them, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so nothing fancy. I'm just going to take this off and see where it is, see what we've got. And there it is at the bottom. Make sure I don't bury it. There it is, you can see it there. But I'm going to have to see if I can try and catch it. Very good condition, good size abdomens, but with these it's just how they walk, it just amazes me. Come on buddy. I'm hoping this is female, but at the minute from my experience of the others, I think I've potentially got two females. And this is what they do, that they go rigid with their legs, they hold their ground. And the reason I don't use a paintbrush, because I'm getting a lot of comments from people saying you must use a paintbrush because someone else uses it, is because if you use a fine paintbrush, which I have done, you see on my older videos, if you can see if I zoom in closer, see the hairs on the tarantula, and when I touch with a paintbrush, it sticks to some of these hairs, and then if you don't notice and you pull too quick, you can easily pull a leg off a tarantula. You can easily injure it. So that's why I don't use it. On these ones I use a little stick because it's nice and soft. Look, I can push them in the direction I want. It's not hurting them. It's not going to stick on them at all. And I can get them in the way they want to go. It does stress them out, but anything you use is going to stress them. But But on a bigger species or a more dangerous species, I use metal tongs, because with these hares, they use it as a way of seeing and a way of feeling, so they can feel via vibration. And also, if the way metal reacts to vibration, as soon as you get near the hairs, it will sense the metal and immediately move out the way. And then all you got to do is lightly touch with the metal tongs. Let's see if I can show you here. Metal tongs, and I'm not hurting it at all, I'm just going slightly close to it, but they don't like the feel of the reaction of the hair on the metal, and they will move away. So I normally use metal tongs for like your Keeler brackish species or your Thailand species or Asian species, because it's easier to do. But the reason you don't like to do that is on these sort of species, terrestrial and like your brachypelmas, you don't do it because they can have a bite response thinking it's food, and they'll break their fangs on the tongs. But then what I do is I tap them first so they know it's not food, then I use the tongs. But with this one, I will just spooked it. Let's get that out of the way. It's done a bit of webbing, put a little bit of dirt in there so it walks over. Come on, little guy, or little girl. I'm hoping this is a girl. It looks completely different to my other one. And there you go again. Look, I'm not moving anywhere. Oh, it's actually in Premont, I think. Come on, in you go. You're going to get a nice fresh home. You see how it sticks to their feet with the little hooks, and it can do that as well with the paintbrushes. So in you go. A stick does not hurt. And then you have it. Let's just put this down. And there you have it, one Megaphobema Robustum. Let me just try and catch the other one and I'll compare them. This one is in a sliding enclosure and it's got the magnets at the end. Brilliant, loads and loads of ventilation at the top and around the sides, so these are just as good. So I can't really pick between the two. I do like these, but I like this one as well. But it's the exact same size. It's just the only downside to this is you need a lot of room. If you've got it on shelving, I've opened that quite a lot and I still can't get the lid off, so that's the only downside to these. So same again, let's see if we can find this one. Let's lift that up. Oh, there we go, drop right down. So this one is exactly the same sort of size, and I think if you've had these as a keeper, you'll notice how quickly the males grow. They're a lot leggier straight away. So even at this size, they're a lot leggier. But when you have a terrestrial species like this, the males and females, there is a slight difference to how they act, especially with their food responses, especially with their movement. When they're younger, I find the females tend to hide more until they get a bit bulkier. The males are a bit more skittish and way more food responsive. Oh, there we go, a little bit of hair kicking. But this one's the exact same body size as the other one. Let's just try and get that in. And there we go again, look, the hairs don't stick to the stick. So for all those that do comment, I've noticed the people that comment don't really keep a lot of tarantulas. They just reference what other people are doing. The other people that know what they're doing as well, they can use a paintbrush, that's entirely up to them. But I think they know that their bristles can stick to the hairs, so they do it in a way at the side. But it's just too much of a risk, especially if you're using a dangerous species, or not a dangerous species, just something that's really defensive. If you drop your guard for a second, something can happen. So you just want to be, with this species, just so much relaxed. I can take my time, move away. If it runs out, I'm not too bothered. But that's the reason why I don't like using a paintbrush. So there's the two of them. That was the first one that I took out, and that one was the second one, obviously. Exactly the same size abdomen, so I've feedden them both at the same time. Same size legs, where they're shorter. I'll put an annotation to my previous one up above, and you can see what I mean about this sort of size with the legs. The males just seem leggier. These seem in proportion. So with the males, the leg seems like a ½ centimetre longer, and they just get skinnier. So I'm thinking I've potentially got two females here. Those of you that have kept them as well, obviously if you think otherwise, just comment below. But I am thinking that I will probably sex the next molt. I've not bothered with these because the molts of these two at the minute are too small. Like here's a molt there, and I can technically do it with a microscope, but they've damaged it. And I probably might be able to get that one actually and have a look, but I'm not too fussed at the minute. I'm happy they're growing well, they're doing really good, so I don't need to sex them at the minute, and I'm not bothered if I have a male or a female, or 2 males. I'm really happy they're doing well. So that's both of those. Let me just revamp the enclosure and we'll get back to you. Right, so let's just remove this. I'm not going to show you exactly everything. I'm just going to quickly do it and go through it, but it's just quite dry at the minute. I'm going to reuse the substrate and then I'm just going to zhuzh it all up. And I use this little sprayer that I got off Amazon because it is absolutely perfect for this. So I use this because it does a mega fine mist. And I used to use all the bigger bottles that you can get to spray water, but there's no need. I use this for the water dishes, just squirt straight in, job done. And this one, because it's just perfect, I can do a couple of sprays, but it coats everything and it doesn't leave a mess. Or I can quickly spray it and it does that, a massive spray. And I think this was only 10-15 quid on Amazon. It's absolutely brilliant. But then look at the moisture content, evenly spread. Absolutely brilliant. So you do a couple of sprays and it sprays by itself, so worth getting. So all I do then is I've got this soaked and I'll just push in the dry stuff over the top and just give it a quick mix around, and it looked absolutely soaked and now it's absolutely dry, and I'll just repeat that process. Then I'm going to just prop that up with this piece with the moss on, just to add a further extension to that tunnel, and then quickly spray that moss, rehydrate it, give it a good soaking. You can just rip it into any shape. And before any of you say it, yes, I got this idea from Dave's Beasties because he's a bloody genius. And I live on the moors pretty much. I've got them all behind me, so I've got all of this that I can use. So why not use it? And I use a different type. I've got 2 different types here. And this one to go around the entrance. Squeeze that in, because they will stay inside their hide, which I've noticed they do all the time, but then they can come out. So then I'll leave the dirt there. Freshen up that moss, let's give it a soak in. Come on, that looks better. Nice little hide, and it will dig down right down in the back. And then what I'll do is I'll just put a water dish up at the top out of the way, and then use this trusty little thing and just fill that up. And now this is going to be better for holding moisture, but they'll dig down in the dirt, but they shouldn't dig all around this, and this is just going to be nice for them to give some good contrast. So when I'm feeding, the crickets can't really disappear now because it annoys me. They dig down, and then when I go to feed again, I find I've got 2 or 3 in there that they've not eaten. So this will make it easier for me because it can either go in there or it's just going to jump up on the cracks here and I'll be able to get it. But then when the tarantula comes out, when I put it in, the contrast of the colour as it starts getting bigger on this is just going to look really nice, because they do have grassy moss bits like this where they're from. So I just wanted to give that bit of contrast. So that's one enclosure. Let's do the other one. Carpet moss. In we go. So there's the first, slightly different, less on this side. In fact, I might put another bit there. So there we go, a little bit of a different type on the top there. So let's see what they do. So I'll get them in, and then I'll show you on the next update if they didn't like it or they do. If not, it's just a case of just taking that off, put a bit more substrate down, and they'll be absolutely fine. But I just wanted to see if they like it. So let's put the water dish in this one, over in the corner. Excuse my dirty hands. Job done. Right, and now let's see if we can get these back in. And I'm going to put them back in their same enclosure, just in case they notice, because I've left a little bit of their webbing which has gone through on the substrate. So whether they can pick off the pheromones, so I'm going to put them straight back in the same one. So let's crack on with this. Let's do this one first, actually. Should be nice and easy. And there we have. Hopefully a female, and let's see what she does, see if she makes her way around and goes in.
Come on. And see if they do the stance where they stand up. This one's definitely in pre-molt. Easy to handle. There we go. Let's just give her the right direction. Come on. You can see, yeah, she's in pre-molt. Kicked a few hairs as well. Look at that coloration on the green. It does look good. Let's just see what she does if she goes in. There you go. And there you go. She can do her chamber either side, but then come out on the moss as well, which looks just absolutely brilliant. So she's got like a central cavern cave, which I think would be brilliant for her. But I think that looks pretty good, and I do like that. And now it gives a bit of greenery from the side as well. And the substrate's all moistened throughout, so I'm not going to need to moisten this for a while. And I'll just keep doing the water dish, and then maybe spraying this bit here of the moss, and then give it a week, and then I'll spray this bit here of the moss and leave that. And that's how I normally maintain it in an enclosure. I don't just do the whole thing, so that's how I do it. But I'm not going to feed this one. I'm going to leave her like that, and then see if I can get the other one in. God, I think I already have a favourite on the enclosures already, but they're slightly different. I never like doing two exactly the same. I like having a bit of difference just to see if they act slightly different. Right, sorry, got a bit of dirt on you there. Come on then. Come on. There we go, and that one's in pre-molt as well. I can tell by the side of the abdomen. So I'm not going to feed either of these, and they've got a good sized booty as well, but straight down in there, and it does look good on the moss. You can almost see like the coloration of the legs on the moss matches the surrounding substrate. Like if they move onto it, you can see how they're quite camouflaged with the browns of the dirt as well, mixing in. It is absolutely amazing. Let's just see if she'll go in. Look at that, there we go. Stretched out legs of the Megaphobema. But I think that looks beautiful. That looks like now I could be, if I put jungle noise over the top of this, you'd believe I've just stumbled across one outside. Brilliant. Well, there you go. Hope you enjoyed that. I'll see you on the next video. Thanks so much for watching.